Now, the recent changes in Eastern Europe and their concomitant effect upon East-West relations have not exactly gone unnoticed in the entertainment industry. For a start, consider how many half-written spy novels have had to be scrapped and how many Cold War movies have gone into what is delicately known as turnaround now that the Russians aren't seen to be such bad guys after all. Nevertheless, Hollywood, ever quick to spot an exploitable opportunity, has managed to make some box office mileage out of the new situation. A couple of weeks ago, for instance, Sean Connery's new film, The Hunt for Red October, opened to excellent business in the States, thanks to what's turned out to be a most timely theme. From New York, Tom Brooke reports.
Like the rest of the world, Hollywood has hardly been able to keep up with the rapid changes in Eastern Europe. Dozens of screenplays have had to be amended to take account of improved East-West relations.
The last 24 hours have seen some extraordinary Soviet naval activity. The first to sail was this ship, we believe called the Red October, in reference...
In The Hunt for Red October, a Soviet submarine captain, portrayed by Sean Connery, tries to defect to the West. The film is based on Tom Clancy's novel of the same name, written before Glasnost. The thaw in the Cold War meant that changes had to be made in the Red October screenplay. Sean Connery also stars in the yet-to-be-released The Russia House. That screenplay, based on John le Carré's bestseller, also had to be amended during production to reflect warmer East-West relations.
Sir, first of all, you were in breach of regulations.
Did you tell the general that the Russians came across the border? No, you didn't.
And The Fourth War, a new John Frankenheimer film starring Roy Scheider, toned down its Cold War rhetoric. The Fourth War, set on the Czech-West German border in 1988, explores the private battle between a Soviet and an American commander.
I know that in the course of making this film, as events were going on in Europe, we had to soften a lot of stuff in our script. They had to do it in Red October. They had to do it in Russia House. And when they do it, I think they get closer to the truth.
Do you think they will let me live in Montana?
I would think they'll let you live wherever you want.
Good. Then I will live in Montana. And I will marry a round American woman and raise rabbits. And she will cook them for me. And I will have a pickup truck.
Everyone was predicting that The Hunt for Red October was going to be a big flop at the box office because of its Cold War theme. But quite the contrary, it opened to incredible business here. And no one in the audience seems to mind that in the film, the Russians are still being depicted as the enemy.
Well, I think you just have to watch it knowing that it was based on a book that was written several years ago. So I don't see any problem with them making the movie now, as long as people keep that in mind.
However, many think that the recent dramatic changes in East-West relations made Red October's plot appear a little out of date.
I think it mattered to the plot to the extent that to believe that this was a thriller, to be thrilled, you had to be frightened by those commies. They had to be sweaty, ugly, evil people. And it worked as an anachronism. It wasn't really true anymore that you were frightened to death by them. They're good guys now. And I think that hurt the plot, but this is a movie that Tom Clancy books don't exactly have high IQ plots to start off with. So the fact that the movie didn't was no surprise to me.
A major challenge facing screenwriters in Hollywood, now that the Russians are no longer the enemy, has been to try to find new villains for their stories. After all, the Russian enemy has been a staple of Hollywood drama for half a century, appearing in all kinds of films, in everything from James Bond to Rocky and Rambo pictures.
Do you think it'll be difficult to make a film like Rambo work at the box office now?
That's over.
It's over, is it?
That's over. Of course, I thought it was over when they made it, but what do I know?
But who will Hollywood...
Oh, we will find
Who will Hollywood filmmakers choose as their enemy now?
There'll be plenty of evil villains in the world, you know. We can either pick on Gaddafi or we can go to some other absurd madman. There are plenty of them around.
Do you think
evil's not going to disappear?
What do you think the new form of evil will be in Hollywood? Will it be Latin American drug lords?
We're into that now. They're the real heavies now, the Colombians and the Peruvians, and it's their turn. There'll always be something.
But contrary to popular wisdom, not everyone thinks that Red October will be the last Cold War movie. John Frankenheimer directed the post-Glasnost drama The Fourth War, and the celebrated classic Cold War thriller, The Manchurian Candidate. He thinks that the Cold War thriller might actually improve now that East-West relations have thawed.
I just know that there were a lot of Vietnam films made after Vietnam. There were a lot of World War II films made after World War II. I think that we're going to see the truth about a lot of things starting to come out now. It might make some very interesting movie plots.
The dismantling of the Iron Curtain also means that Hollywood films will now be shown in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union. For instance, the Fourth War won't just be shown in America and Britain. It'll also be released in Moscow. The market for both Soviet and Hollywood films could grow substantially.
Look at the market. Look at the size of that market. This will revitalize Russian films for release here, and our films will now finally, all of it, look at all the films that can be sent to Russia now.
With a new market opening up and relations between East and West improving, some think that Hollywood should now try to find villains who'll appeal not just to Americans, but also to audiences in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, or to anyone else for that matter.
My fondest hope for a new enemy is bureaucrats. Because really, when you get down to it, Eastern Europe, over here, anywhere, the real enemy we're all dealing with every day, whether you're trying to get a driver's license or get your taxes done, or whatever it is, it's bureaucrats. They're the real bad guys on Earth.
But in the meantime, the hunt for Red October continues to rake in the dollars, proving that a well-produced Hollywood movie, even if it does have a Cold War theme that's a little out of date, can still, in the wake of Glasnost, work wonders at the box office.
I look forward to a movie about a raving mayor bureaucrat on an evil rampage. The hunt for Red October opens in Britain on April the 18th.